Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there and age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey, so today I'm actually going to talk about a political and yet controversial topic. So if you don't like political or controversial topics, you might want to click away from this video. I'm not here to necessarily sway anyone's opinion or make up anyone's mind. I'm not ever going to tell you who to vote for, but I do want you to understand the financial impact that our presidents, our mayors, our city councils can have, not only on you as the individual, but on the city, on the state, and on the entire U.S. So today we're going to talk about President Biden. We're not going to go into too much detail on his entire proposal, his financial proposal, but we will break down a few things that he is proposing. So what he wants to do is he wants to actually raise the tax rate on those who are making over $400,000 a year to 39.6 or 39.7%. Now, on TikTok, this did blow up a little bit. I'm averaging about 600 to 800 views on TikTok per video that I upload. And so someone had asked me, am I making 400,000 or more a year? Or this is for the ultra rich. What a lot of people don't understand is that the rich are never going to be taxed 39%. And then the other thing that I want to bring up is that President Biden would never impact himself the way that he's impacting others. So for example, for those of you who don't know, since as long as I can remember, the presidential salary has been $400,000 a year. So that will tell you why anyone over $400,000 a year is being taxed at 39.6%. It's because, of course, he won't tax himself at 39.6%. Of course, he's not ultra rich. That is very laughable. Now, billionaires, people who are really owning companies, they're going to pay a corporations tax, right? The corporations tax, I believe, is at 20%, and they're trying to get it to about 28%, an 8% increase, which to me is absolutely, on all that money, it may be ridiculous, 8% increase. Let me tell you what that will do. That is actually more impactful. This is going to impact companies in more ways than one, because you're asking companies to stop going overseas and come back to America, but you're not incentivizing them to do so. You're in fact asking them to run away. So what this is actually going to do is going to decrease competition. What do you mean by that, Festus? Well, for example, Nike, Apple, Tesla, all these major corporations that have all these offshore bank accounts that are not going to be hit with these 28% corporate taxes, those are the companies that are going to continue to thrive and survive. Google, Amazon, all those offshore bank accounts, those are the companies and businesses that will not be affected by these things. We all know that President Biden has plenty of offshore accounts, but I'm not trying to make this personal. I'm not really attacking him in any way. I want that to be very clear for those who are new to my channel and understand that I don't pick any sides. I just want you to understand the financial implications of what is going on and how it actually affects businesses. Now, you talk about these big businesses as if they're actually going to be affected. And I can tell you that that 20% to 28% is not going to affect any of the businesses that I just named. But what it will affect is the mom and pop shop who doesn't have the attorneys and the accountants to say, hey, send my money offshore to the Philippines or to Thailand or to Nigeria and ensure that my money is secure. They don't have the capability to say, I'm going to trust this foreign bank of which I know nothing about and don't have the ability to do the research on with my $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And so those small companies, small businesses, not even really companies for real, they're not able to withstand what is actually going to come their way from these bigger corporations when they want to be competitive. That 8%, that 20% tax that they're paying right now, that may go up to 28%, is all their advertising revenue, is all their marketing dollars, is all that they could have spent on increasing their business, fighting off competition, fighting off the likes of Amazon, Google, Netflix, all these things. They don't have it. And so what truly does happen is that they get acquired, right? Because they can no longer sustain themselves, because they can no longer compete, because they can't pay the increased salaries and wages and this and that. What tends to happen is that eventually they just get flooded with debt, flooded with the inability to remain active. They may just default, become insolvent, or try to sell before it's too late. So a company who doesn't necessarily have to deal with a lot of that overhead because they'll just send all their banks overseas. They'll start to get their products for a lot cheaper, especially if it's like clothing or retail items. They'll figure out ways to cut costs. And a lot of that is by going to places like China, Africa, and other parts of the world, Dubai, in which they see a better chance of profitability, right? IBM is cutting so much of their staff and going to countries now, like India, in order to hire help who will do the same work for far cheaper. And this is going to impact so many people. But let me not talk about corporations too much. I just want you to also understand that people can truly be selfish, right? Why is it $400,000? And it got me thinking. I've been thinking about this for so many days now. I was like, if the president made $500,000, it would be $500,000 or more. If the president made $600,000, it would be $600,000 or more. So here's the truth. Let's say you had a corporation in the US. They're paying the 20% tax rate. Let's say the proposal goes through, but it doesn't go up to 28% for the corporation tax. It stays at 20% for just round numbers. But the proposal goes through for the employee earning $400,000 a year. What type of employee outside of the person who owns the corporation who's about to pay themselves makes $400,000 a year? Well, that's going to be your doctors who are probably surgeons. They spent 8 to 13 years in medical school with a whole bunch of medical debt, probably pay at least $2,000 a month in medical debt. There's going to be your lawyers who might have went to a prestigious school and has a lot of money to pay off. That's going to be your VPs, your vice presidents of whatever company you want to list. And some VPs don't even make $200,000 a year. But we'll leave it at that. Those are going to be your president of operations for plenty of facilities, probably Amazon, Google, Apple, you name it. Those are the people who are going to be making $400,000 a year. Were they always making that money? No. Do some of them have debt? Probably most. Most of them have student loans? Probably yes. Did they sacrifice over a decade of their life in order to make that? Yeah. Some of us won't even sacrifice 6 months to learn a new skill or trade. So understand those that you're affecting have taken so much time and probably do something very, very impactful to not only you as an individual, but to their communities. right? So before you start thinking about who is actually going to pay the $400,000, it's really not the companies themselves, but it's the working class, the highest earners of the working class, who have literally sacrificed everything to finally be able to make $400,000 a year. And they're going to pay 39.6% on anything over that. Now, let's get back to the corporation. I own Orange. I'm going to call the company Orange. And I get a orange pill that's peeled off and it looks like a spiral. It's called Orange. That's my company, Orange. And it's just the orange pill in yellow. I decided on yellow for some reason. So it's like a freshly peeled orange. The company made $2 million. I kept it all in the US. I pay a corporation's tax of 20% on that money. That's $200,000 gone. Okay. Actually, $400,000 gone. All right, let's start using our head. Let's see, 20% of 2 million should be 400,000, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's 400,000 gone. We got 1.6 million. Out of the expenses for the company in Orange, we make paintings. And the cost of the paintings that we use are so sophisticated. It is so great that it cost me $200,000 to get that done. So 10% of my earnings came in the form of material costs, gone. So now that's $500,000 gone. Now I have employees just for the medical care, the health care, the dental care, all that. I want to provide that to my employees. The only thing that I did not provide to them, because I decided to remain in the US and I'm a new business, is a 401k. So there's a group 401k that is starting to be offered, but we don't offer that yet. Okay, cool. That is going to cost me another $80,000. So we're at $580,000. The employees themselves, thank goodness, California said the minimum raise is only like $20 an hour, but that's only for those with multiple companies. So I don't have to abide by that rule. I'm going to pay, multiple businesses. I don't have to abide by that rule, but I do want to be competitive because California has forced me to be competitive. So I'm going to pay $18 an hour. I understand that that's not very attractive anymore, but I'm a small business and I'm trying to remain afloat. That $18 an hour is just a little bit over $35,000 a year. I have to hire about 4 people for that job. That's going to cost me $140,000. Okay, and I got to work the job too because I don't have enough money coming in to where I don't have to work. So 140 plus the 580 that I just paid, that's going to be $720,000. Okay, so now we're at 1.2 million, a little bit like 1.28 million, right? All right, so we're at 1.28 million. Cool. If I take out $500,000 and call that my earned income, from $400,000 to $500,000, that whole $100,000 is going to be taxed at 39.6%. Therefore, I'm going to walk away with about $60,000 out of that money. Okay. A lot of you may be saying, but yes, the rest is taxed less. Okay, cool. Of that $500,000, let's say you walk away. You walk away with $300,000. So you gave up $200,000 in taxes. Is that fair? Mind you, of that $300,000 that you walked away with, I'm assuming you have no family. I'm assuming it's only you that you have to take care of. Because you're your own business, you have your own medical expenses, your own dental expenses, your own, this is very important these days, mental health, and whatever other vision that you have to go and see, that's also going to eat into that cost. Not to mention your mortgage payment, your rental payment, whatever it is that you're doing in order to stay afloat. And we haven't even accounted for maybe the leasing fee for the office space, or the rent for the office space, the electric bill for a business or building. All these things that we have yet to account for will then eat into the profits of the business itself that is supposed to be put into the savings. Mind you, this is if that company made $2 million in a year. So this is what I mean by it being much more difficult to start a business in the US and keep it in the US when it's so much more profitable to just say, you know what, I'm going to take my business and say it is in Colombia while I do business in the US. And that alone is going to save me $400,000 from that 20% tax that they're looking to raise to 28%. And because of that, I can now take care of all of my expenses as if it was, just a tax write-off. So, with that being said, there's many reasons why companies are going overseas. There's many reasons why businesses have offshore accounts. And, those who are truly being affected are the ones who are going to feel it the most. They make $600,000 a year. They're taxed absurdly. They have all these bills and expenses. And truth be told, they also feel like they can't get ahead just as much as you. Because no matter how much more they make, they're taxed so much. Is their lifestyle better than someone who is literally living in poverty? Absolutely. But how much of their life did they dedicate to just studying and reading? How much of their life did they dedicate to one thing their entire life so that they can be at a point to where they earn that type of money? I can't imagine foregoing a decade of my life just to study for something, to then be told that for the remainder of my life, I'm going to pay more in taxes than probably two people combined. And so when people say tax the rich, understand who you're really taxing, because those who are wealthy, those who are ultra wealthy, they're not being taxed. Those who go to school, those who really apply themselves to do life-saving things, open business for people, employ people right here in America, save lives, whether it's from going to jail or from a heart attack. Those are the people that you're truly taxing, that 39.6%. And ask Joe Biden why it's not 300,000. Because he won't want to tax himself. So if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and on Rumble, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.